Hello, how's everyone doing? Today demonstration is going to be collage for project 3. I'm going to just go over some tips on some techniques, proper use of your rubber cement, and some ideas and maybe that will be inspirational on how you might go about constructing your collage. So I have a bunch of sources. My sources are prints that I've made. So I've made reproductions of them, just sort of copies and enlarge them at different sizes. And I'm going to use these as my sources to construct my collage. So collage, it's a board. It's cut so that it would fit on a scanner. So this is an 8.5 by 14 inch board. Now again, the collage size has to be a surface area that is 5 by 10 inches. But it doesn't have to be rectilinear, so it can be organic. So I've started a more organic collage here, but I want to just give you some tips on well, how do you manipulate the sources? One of the examples, specifically of the swimmer, where she used the silhouette of her putting goggles on as essentially like a cookie cutter to pull off the image from the lake. So I'm going to do something similar here. It's like, well, I have a print. So I have the print underneath here, and I put this sign that I've been using in some prints that I've made, and that I'm going to put this sign on top of the print so that when I cut the shape out, I'm not going to use this black silhouette of a school zone. I want to use image from underneath. But I'm going to use this as a template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my board. And so I've already started cutting it. And I just put a little bit of painter's tape here to mask that down so they don't shift on me. It just makes it easier. But I'm going to give you some tips. Now, if you're cutting a straight line, I'd recommend using a ruler. So I'm going to cut this little island off. I'm going to cut the rest of the head on this one and the arm on that side. And we'll be done, right? And so don't be a hero. Use a ruler for a straight line. If you want to, you can try to freehand it. And I'm just going to use the tip of the blade to kind of poke that little area out. Now, your blade tip needs to be sharp when getting a detailed cutout. Alright, if it's not sharp or the broken tip, you're going to have difficulty. If it's not sharp, you're going to tear the paper, not get clean edges. I'm going to cut the circle out. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky, so I have a little trick here I'm going to show you. That I've already cut this line here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around here, and I'm just going to get the blade cut in placement, and I'm going to start cutting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut towards me, and as I'm cutting, I'm turning a little bit, but I'm also going to turn the paper. And that is just going to help sort of almost work as a pivot point on the cutting tip of this to finish this nice clean circle. It just makes it easier than trying to turn my wrist and work it in a circular rotation. That I'm just going to manipulate where I'm cutting. My printout is pretty large, so I'm getting a little bit. I'm going to go pick it up and move it so I have more space. If I was really good at my video editing skills, I would speed up things like this, so it'd be like really fast. I'm not there yet. Maybe by the end of the term. One more cut. You can make straight lines without a ruler. It's essentially not using my wrist, not using my elbow, it's my shoulder, and just making straight lines. It's like making a straight line when you're drawing. So here comes the magic. Let's see if I cropped it where I wanted it. Over. I wanted them connected still. Just that off. There. So now I have that. And I can also remove this Right? And I could use this part, like the negative space part. I could cut this into another shape and have that pulled out. But right now I'm just going to put this to the side. I have them. I could use them somewhere too. Maybe not necessarily the black parts, but I could do something like this on my collage. Now let's say I have something like this, and so I can incorporate these folks somewhere, right? And we could have them down here or something. But let's get to the gluing part. So I'm actually put these two just away for a moment. And so I have some of these. This has already been, these pieces are already glued down. I recommend that when you start, taking your sources, getting your sources, and cutting them into the shapes you want to use, think about where they're going to be, and you might want to sort of like in a sketchbook. In your thumbnails, just sort of play around with them. Maybe use tape to put them down at first so you can maneuver them, kind of step back from them. Take what I would recommend, take a picture of it and then put it on your computer screen, make it a little bit larger, and then get some critical distance and step away from it so you can sort of see what's happening within the space. But so everything here has already been glued down, but we're pretty versatile with our rubber cement. So I'm going to take this piece, I'm just going to use a knife here to help me pull this up. This piece has been glued down. I'm going to pull it up. Alright, it's repositionable. Now the rubber cement does leave some just little kind of almost like boogers on here, right? And you'd want to clean this up. But I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to replace this. I'm going to get rid of some of that. They actually make an eraser that's specific just for cleaning up rubber cement. But as long as my hands are clean, this will work. I'm going to try to get all of that out of here. It does make a mess, but you don't want to turn in collage with rubber cement, sort of leavings all over the board. They're going to get dirty. They collect dirt really quickly. That's why I was like, clean hands. I just use my hands. Let's just put this over the side for now. All right, I'm going to glue this piece back down there. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a blank piece of sketchbook paper, and this, you want to need this because you need to go to the edge. You don't want the edges of your collage elements flipping up or moving, alright. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a coat. Proper use of rubber cement is to do what I just did. Right, I picked up that piece that had been glued there. I glued that piece down there years ago. So what you want to do is you want to put a thin coat of rubber cement on both surfaces. So I'm going to put a coat down here, and if it's bigger, it's fine. You just saw me clean it up. Alright, so if it gets bigger and it goes in a larger area, that's fine. You want it to be kind of thin. You don't want big blobs, thick coats of this stuff, because otherwise it's going to squish out or it's not going to lay down flat. But you can see as the versatility of being able to do that, you can see things in like this, like, oh, well, maybe I want this arm in front of that piece, and I want that leg behind it, so I can pick it up with the rubber cement, reapply, and I don't have to remove it all the way, just partially, and then put it back down. So I'm just going to go right off to the edge. I want to go all the way off. You want it to be slightly tacky. Pick this up. It's good. Rubber cement can also act as a resist for like paint or wash. So I got it lined up. I want that line to line up. I want those things to line up here. So I'm just going to put that down here like this. And then ideally the extra, like you can see it right there. I'm going to start peeling it up a little bit. You see that extra? That part, I'm going to let it set and completely dry before I go to clean that up. But what I want to do is I want to make sure I get smooth it out, get it nice and flat. Things can overlap. Once this is completely dry, then I can come back in and just clean that up. And before you document your piece for the forum, you definitely want to clean up all this rubber cement extra. This piece of paper can just be thrown away. But it's Really versatile. It's a proper way of using this. If you only coat one side of your paper and then stick it down, you're not going to be able to reposition it. You're pretty much making a permanent bond, right? Here, it's rubber cement sticking to rubber cement that allows me to pull it up, clean it off. All right, and I didn't even clean off the back of this paper. This piece of paper had a little bit of rubber cement on it. I got rid of anything kind of large debris. Got rid of that just so it lay down nice and smooth again. And ready to go. I can continue. But it's really versatile, and this is how I want you to go about going about your collage. Remember, you need to have warm colors, cool colors, and then neutral colors, colors that have been neutralized. All right. If you have any questions, please send me an email, schedule a meeting.